The Wicked Prince. Once upon a time there was a proud and wicked prince who thought only about how he might conquer all the nations of the earth and make his name a terror to all mankind. He plunged forth with fire and sword. His soldiers trampled down the grain in the fields and put the torch to the peasant's cottage so that the red flames licked the very leaves from the trees, and the fruit hung roasted from black and charred limbs. Many a poor mother caught up her naked baby and tried to hide behind the smoking walls, but the soldiers followed her, and if they found her and the child, then began their devilish pleasure. Evil spirits could do no worse, but the prince rejoiced in it all. Day by day his power increased, his name was feared by all, and fortune followed him in all his deeds. From the conquered cities he carried away gold and precious treasures, until he had amassed in his capital riches such as were unequaled in any other place. Then he built superb palaces and temples and arches, and whoever saw his magnificence said, "What a great prince!" Never did they think of the misery he had brought upon other lands, never did they listen to the groans and lamentations from cities laid waste by fire. The prince gazed upon his gold, looked at his superb buildings, and thought like the crowd, "What a great prince, but I must have more, much more. There is no power that can equal, much less surpass mine," and so he warred with his neighbors until all were defeated. The conquered kings were chained to his chariot with chains of gold when he drove through the streets, and when he sat at table they lay at the feet of the prince and his courtiers, eating such scraps as might be thrown to them. Now the prince had his own statue set up in the marketplaces and the palaces, yes, he would even have set it in the churches, on the altars, but to this the priests said, "Prince, you are great, but God is greater. We dare not obey your orders." "Well," said the evil prince, "then I shall conquer God too." In the pride and folly of his heart he had built a splendidly constructed ship in which he could sail through the air. It was as colorful as a peacock's tail, and seemed decorated with 1,000 eyes, but each eye was the barrel of a cannon. Masalsatesikon, the prince could sit in the center of the ship and, upon his touching a certain button, 1,000 bullets would stream forth, and the guns would at once be reloaded. Hundreds of strong eagles were harnessed to the ship, and so it flew away, up and up toward the sun. Far beneath lay the earth. At first its mountains and forests appeared like a plowed field, with a tuft of green peeping out here and there from the sod. Then it seemed like an unrolled map, and finally it was wholly hidden in mists and clouds, as the eagles flew higher and higher. Then God sent forth a single one of his countless angels, and immediately the prince let fly 1,000 bullets at him, but they fell back like hail from the angels' shining wings. Then one drop of blood, just one, fell from one of the angel's white wing feathers onto the ship of the prince. There it burned itself into it, and its weight of 1,000 hundredweights of lead hurled the ship back down with terrible speed to the earth. The mighty wings of the eagles were broken, the winds roared about the head of the prince, and the clouds on every side, sprung from the smoke of burned cities, formed themselves into menacing shapes. Some were like mile-long crabs stretching out their huge claws toward him, others were like tumbling boulders or fire-breathing dragons. The prince lay half dead in his ship, until it was finally caught in the tangled branches of a dense forest. "I will conquer God," he said. "I have sworn it, my will shall be done." Then for 7 years he built other magnificent ships in which to sail through the air, and had lightning beams forged from the hearts.